Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. In today's video we're heading back to the Women's and Children's Hospital because Max has an appointment with the Hens clinic, and in that appointment we'll be meeting with our dietitian and also a speech pathologist. And this appointment was supposed to take place a week ago, but if you've seen our previous few videos you'd know that Max has been quite unwell and we had to reschedule this appointment, and we were very lucky to have it rescheduled so soon because a couple of the other appointments that we had to cancel, they got rescheduled for a month away. So we're heading there now. So we've just finished with our appointment at the Hens clinic, so with the speech pathologist and the dietitian.
And what happened in that appointment, well, initially they just asked us how Max was going. The speech pathologist said that she wanted to try him on some Puree. The way it would work is that he would be introduced to Puree today, and then that would go for about a month, and then from there we could look at introducing fluids out of a sippy cup, because apparently that helps with the developmental.
Yeah, so she said that when he's feeding from a bottle with a teat, he has to suck and then swallow, and there's more coordination involved. If he's just putting it in his mouth and then swallowing it from there, it's like one action, not a couple of different actions in his mouth. But the fluid that they were talking about was going to be thickened, so it would be like a syrup consistency. But yeah, with the puree that we had today, she put a bit of thickener in that as well, just to make it that little bit more thicker. And then she also got her stethoscope, and as Ellen was feeding Max, she was having a listen to the side of his neck just to hear the swallow sounds and just hear what like the movements inside his neck was doing.
But before we got started, they did a quick weight and height, and then she listened just to make sure what I guess his baseline was before starting.
So he was 62.9. Yeah.
And 6.7. Yeah. So I think when he was in hospital he was like 6.4.
So he was 6.4 when he first went into the emergency, but when he was on the ward and they were weighing him, he was back up to 6.7s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so with his gastro and his vomiting, and he wasn't holding down fluids, he lost 400 grams in fluid.
Yeah.
Over that time.
So we started the feeds, and she just said to pretty much coat the spoon, not to give him a big amount, and he took to it. He loved it, but he wasn't like swallowing properly, and he was. She could hear that he wasn't swallowing,
yeah.
And she was like, just let him try and swallow, give him a second. She wanted to see if he'd cough, and she was even like making these movements in her mouth like to try and get him to copy her. And it became very clear very quickly that he wasn't feeding properly, that he was potentially aspirating, because he became very gurgly very quickly.
Yeah.
So he maybe had 6 tries with the spoon, and then she was like, no, we can't do it. It's
yeah.
So It's disappointing, but we were kind of surprised that we were even trying it given his recent scans.
Yeah, considering that we know that he was aspirating severely, and from what I saw in the barium swallow test, and when they were giving him the barium, and the reaction to the doctor when he was swallowing that, like stop, that was the indication that he was still aspirating significantly. So I guess it was good that we tried.
Yeah, I mean, he's nearly been on it for 4 months, so I think it was a good time to give it a try and see how he's going, see if there's been any changes. Speech pathologist and the dietitian said that they're going to get in contact with our respiratory doctor and just see kind of what the plan is from here, because
the dietitian, she was discussing about upping his volume because we think that he could tolerate it, but she's saying that she needs to have that confirmed by respiratory medicine because they've capped his volume per feed at 120, so that's a conversation that they need to have, and then somebody's going to get back to us with that.
They're working on the idea that maybe he's reflux aspirating, but this hasn't been confirmed at all, and that's why his volume was dropped to 120. That's why his feeds have been thickened. So he's never shown evidence of that because he wasn't a vomiting baby. When he was breastfed, he never spit up at all, and he was gaining weight well. So there's a lot of indications that he wouldn't be refluxy, but we don't know.
Yeah.
So they did bring up this thing called TPT, which is transpyloric feeding. Essentially, that has been mentioned to us before, but essentially that is a tube that goes and bypasses his stomach and goes into...
It's a nasogastric tube, but it goes further, so it goes through his stomach and into his small intestine.
I think his jejunum or the duodenum, one of those two.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ramifications with that because he would be on a 20-hour feed, so there's 2 10-hour feeds a day.
Yeah, and then 2 2-hour breaks a day. And me and Ellen, we're a bit reluctant to explore that in the sense that even inserting the tube has to be done under X-ray guidance. And it's potentially a lot more complicated. It'll restrict his movement, and we just don't want something like that to restrict his development.
No, we don't. It feels like a step back, and we don't want that.
A big step back.
So I don't know. At this point, we've got ENT next month, and we're going to push to have him go under and have just a study, just to see if there is a cause. If there's a cause, we need to know about it because. Yeah. Otherwise, we're just waiting on him to get older and he's still going to be behind.
I think our main concern is that if there is a physical issue here and we didn't do these tests now, then we're potentially delaying getting those surgeries done and getting him better earlier. Whereas there's a good chance that this is developmental and it'll get better on its own. But if there is a small chance that it's physical and we could fix that, then we'd want to know. At this point, respiratory is all for it, but ENT, they're reluctant on doing this procedure on a baby under 1 year old, so they want to wait.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at the moment.
So at this point, we've got an appointment with general medicine at the end of the month and respiratory medicine early next month. And speech pathologist and dietitian are going to get back to us before all of that to find out what's happening. They're going to email both the general medicine doctor and the respiratory doctor. So we should know a bit more about what the plan is, if we're changing feeds or whatever. So
yeah. So at the moment, we just sort of left the appointment with we're just going to continue doing what we're doing until we see ENT and everyone else, respiratory and the rest of the team that's looking after Max's care. So we just keep doing what we're doing at the moment. So guys, if you're interested to see what we have going on, look out for the upcoming videos. Better yet, subscribe and hit that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one.
You just got challenged. discussed about introducing. I feel like you're like mid side.
What do you mean? How so? I'm looking at the lens.
I see it. So from in the appointment, it was discussed. No.
And so what happened in that appointment was.
Is it definitely on?
Yeah. So I've turned the light on so I can film incognito. Like, you know, I can just whip it out like bam without it flashing and people seeing it blinking.
So, you know, like a pervert.
Yeah, see? Recording. Did we ever discuss ending? Like, didn't you say that you had something that's like, oh, we could try that to sign off the video?
Oh, you just got challenged.